I used to talk to my dog the way people talk to themselves, out loud, casually, not expecting answers. Living alone does that to you. After work, the apartment was always quiet except for the television and the sound of him moving around behind me, nails on hardwood, slow breathing, the occasional thump as he shifted his weight. One night, I came home exhausted and bored enough to start messing with him. I dropped my keys, kicked off my shoes, and looked at him, sitting in the doorway between the living room and the hall. "You know," I said, half smiling, "I already know you can talk." His ears twitched. I laughed and kept going, pacing toward the kitchen. "You don't have to hide it. I'm not going to tell anyone. Promise." I expected nothing. A head tilt, a yawn, maybe him walking away. Instead, he didn't move. He just stared at me. Not the way dogs look at you when they're waiting for food. Not confused, not excited, focused. I stopped talking. The silence felt heavier than it should have. "Relax," I said, chuckling. "I'm kidding." He didn't blink. I remember feeling embarrassed, like I'd said something stupid out loud and someone had heard it. I turned away, turned on the TV, and let the noise fill the room. But the feeling didn't go away. He watched me the entire evening. When I finally went to bed, he stayed, sitting in the doorway, eyes locked on me, until I turned off the light. I woke up around 3:12 a.m. I didn't know why at first. No noise, no dream, just the sudden awareness that I was awake. The apartment was dark, except for the faint blue glow from the TV in the living room. I'd forgotten to turn it off. Then I realized what felt wrong. I could hear breathing, not mine. It was coming from the doorway, slow, controlled, too even. I opened my eyes, just enough to see him standing there, not lying down like he usually did, standing. The light from the TV didn't reach his face fully. It caught the edges of him, the outline of his head, the shape of his shoulders. He was facing me. "Go lay down," I whispered. He didn't move. I waited for the sound of paws hitting the floor. It never came. The breathing changed. It deepened slightly, like someone preparing to speak. My heart started hammering. "Buddy," I said, my voice barely working. The breathing stopped. For a moment, I thought I imagined everything. Then he took one step forward. It wasn't the sound that froze me. It was the way the step landed flat, heavy, deliberate, like it had been practiced. I didn't sleep after that. The moment he stepped forward, I pulled the blanket over my head like a child, heart racing, every sense screaming that something was wrong. I stayed like that until morning. When sunlight finally crept into the room, I forced myself to look. The doorway was empty. The apartment looked normal, too normal, like nothing had happened at all. He was in the kitchen, sitting where he always sat, tail thumping lightly when he saw me. I laughed. Too loud, too fast. "Okay," I muttered. That was stupid. I went to work, exhausted, replaying the night over and over. I told myself it was stress, sleep paralysis, my brain filling in gaps. That evening, I tested it. I stood in the living room and looked directly at him. "You can stop pretending," I said, half joking, half serious now. "I know you understand." The TV was off. The apartment was quiet. His ears lifted slowly. He didn't wag his tail. He didn't tilt his head. He smiled. Not the open-mouthed pant dogs do. Something tighter. The corners of his mouth pulled back just enough to show his teeth. And his eyes didn't look away. They looked like they were waiting for my response. I backed away without meaning to. My foot hit the coffee table and I nearly fell. The noise broke whatever spell the moment had cast. His face relaxed instantly. The smile vanished. He blinked. Once, twice, then he sat. Like a normal dog. I didn't sleep in my bed that night. I locked myself in the bathroom with the light on and waited for morning, listening to every sound the apartment made. Nothing happened. The next few days passed in a strange limbo. He acted normal. Too normal. Obedient. Quiet. Always watching. I avoided talking to him. I avoided looking at his face for too long. But sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, I'd see his mouth move slightly, like he was rehearsing something. One night, as I drifted off on the couch, I heard it. Not a bark, not a growl. A sound shaped like a word that never quite finished forming. I sat up. The apartment was dark. The TV off. He was standing in the hallway again, smiling. I already knew. I whispered without thinking. The smile widened. This time, I heard the sound clearly. It wasn't my name. It was laughter. I tried to leave the next day. I packed a bag. I grabbed my keys. I told myself I'd stay with a friend until I figured things out. He blocked the door, not aggressively, just standing there, calm, patient. I reached for the knob anyway. Behind me, I heard a voice, low, careful, like it hadn't been used much.
You said you wouldn't tell.
I froze. I didn't turn around. The voice continued, halting between words, as if choosing them one by one.
You already knew.
My hands were shaking so badly I dropped the keys. I felt warm breath on the back of my neck, closer than he should have been able to move.
I learned by listening.
The voice said.
You talk a lot.
Something brushed my shoulder. Not fur, skin. I screamed and wrenched the door open, bolting down the hall without looking back. I didn't stop running until I was outside, gasping, surrounded by people who had no idea what almost spoke behind me. Animal control found the apartment empty. No dog, no signs of forced entry, just deep scratches on the inside of the bathroom door and teeth marks in the hallway wall at human height. They asked me questions I couldn't answer. Had he always been aggressive? Did he ever act strangely? I lied. I moved apartments, changed routines, tried to forget. Weeks passed, then months. One night, lying in bed, I heard breathing, slow, controlled, familiar, from the doorway. A voice, careful and quiet, whispered,
You didn't tell.
I stared at the darkness, heart sinking as a shape detached itself from the shadows. Standing upright, smiling, wider than any dog should, I kept my promise too. They say dogs can't talk. They say it's just stress, trauma, the brain filling in gaps. But sometimes, late at night, when the TV hums quietly in the background, people swear they hear laughter in empty apartments. A voice practicing words it learned by listening, waiting for someone to joke again, waiting for permission. Because once you acknowledge it understands, it stops pretending not to.